lives once again, right?
Yeah, it's back to life. So after blowing the head gasket and everything, same short block. We went through. I went to Gary Oach and bought a set of Frank F710s with 700 springs on it. Changed the cam to a ProCharger cam. Then had issues with that, so I had to go back to the old cam. The cam motion cam wasn't drilled out right. Yeah, they broke a tap off in it, what I figured out happened. But then, of course, with the F710s, none of my valve cover stuff would work. Like, literally none of it. If you look, they're really wide for a set of LS heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see how they mount completely different. So we had to do that, drill them for you could get a set of Frankenstein billet valve covers that were drilled and everything, but instead we took these valve covers and just drilled them ourselves, put a little spacer plate in them, machined what we needed to machine, and redone all that. Hooked up the catch cans differently because we mounted our AM fittings to the very rear now. You look right back here. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So on each side you got one of those. And then I turned the RPM up. This thing's already seen 8,000 RPM the way it is. Had to change the belt. So interesting, the F710s raised the supercharger up, apparently, because when we tried to put the same size belt back on, it's too short. We ended up having to get an inch and 5/8 belt. So that means that the supercharger has probably risen up 5/8, 3/4 of an inch. So, but if you look, the belt geometry is way better now. If you look at how the belt is now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see now none of the, before it was real tight in there. Now we don't have that problem. And that makes more sense. Maybe the Brodix heads are decked a little different. We raised the compression ratio up. We're a 10-7 to 1 now. So, like this car runs like 12 to 1, but the car starts way easier. It doesn't have that weird sound when it was starting. So, what we discovered on the Brodixes is the rocker shafts had actually came loose in there, and we're lucky that we caught it, because if it had broke one of those rocker shafts off or something, it'd have been a catastrophic fail. So, how it didn't destroy something,
come off,
I don't know, man. So the shaft was still somewhat engaged, but the rocker, the lash in the rocker was just completely done. I mean, like, I could stick my finger under it, that kind of space. So yeah, the F710s, I don't see that happening on, because it's got a set of Jessels on it. It's not a set of Crowers or anything, it's Jessel. All that came from Frankenstein. So they were really nice, and got me a set shipped here pretty quick. I think it took like a week to get them.
Yeah, the car really wasn't down because of parts.
Yeah,
that was cool.
we were
just
always
time,
moving
right?
forward.
Time.
Yeah, we were always moving forward. Even when I wasn't around, Dad was working on it.
So now, real quick, explain compression.
Okay, compression is basically how much cylinder pressure you're ending up with in the cylinder. So as you run out less space in the cylinder, like as the piston comes to TDC, you're going to have more compression. If you have like a dish top piston, there's a good example right here. So this is what's called a dome top piston. It has a positive CC head on it. If you can see, hold on a second. There we go. As you can see in these, see how the top of the piston is here, and then you have this extra area up here?
Yeah.
Well, a hemi chamber is like this, so you got a hemispherical chamber up here. So this is what's called a positive chamber, or a positive dome top piston. So say this is, I don't know what it actually is, it's probably about 20 cc's if I had to guess, so you would take that, compute it by your head gasket thickness, where your piston, this part of your piston actually stops, and you would get your compression ratio. There's actually a calculator on Summit Racing you can do to get you pretty ballpark anyway. So as the piston comes up, less space there is, the harder it's got to compress the air that's in there. Okay. Typically, what you see in 9.8, 9.9 to 1. Most boosted motors back in the day used to run even 8.8 to 1, which sucked to start. And when I originally designed the motor that was in the Copo, it wasn't this motor, but another motor. That's what it was, the 8.8. I built it for a big turbo setup. Well, with supercharger, we can get away with more compression. So we went to, right now it's a 10.7 one is what it is. And
normally it's what, like an 11 one, no?
yeah, you're getting close. It is riskier because if you go extreme boost, then you have detonation issues because they're worse to detonate. And that's actually what everything's about, is static compression ratio. Even your cam changes static compression. So it's compression ratio makes all the difference on these motors, and any motor, any internal combustion motor.
Yeah.
Compression ratio is where it's at.
Last time we said 350 was going in. What ended up happening?
Okay, so the 350's got pop-up pistons, like those over there, that I showed you a while ago. What was ending up happening is when we put the regular heads on it, the pop-up pistons were hitting the chambers. So we never turned it over or anything. When I looked at it, eyeballed it and put Play-Doh in the chamber, I already knew this is not gonna work. So we pulled it back out, and I took the 427 and got the Frankensteins put on it. Checked the bottom end of it. I looked through the bearings, everything's good. So the only thing that was wrong with it is it had a bullet head gasket, which I'm fairly certain I know what the cause of it is. Whenever the valves weren't opening, because all the lash in the rocker, more than likely it blew because too much cylinder pressure.
It's crazy how you couldn't hear it. Normally you could hear a rocker.
Well, you can, it's so hard to hear anything on this car, but you could hear it when it started. I told Dad something is off on this car because when I would turn it over, like if it sat for 3 or 4 days, then I started it, it would turn over like, you usually get a good even sound, but it would have like a dead hole sound. And that's when I knew something was wrong with it. I knew something was wrong when the head gasket wasn't acting right.
Yeah, it sounds good. A lot more throat. What made it throatier? The heads?
Yeah, well, I guess it's the heads and probably the compression ratio.
Okay.
Yeah, same cam, same bottom end, basically. So guys, thank you for checking out our 2017 Copo with the 427 now in it, with the Frankenstein heads. If you guys enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. So right now, I'm waiting on the electronic boost or electronic wastegates to come in, so we can control the boost through a Pro charger the way we control it through a turbocharging system.